invalidates ablution. What actually invalidates ablution? Scholars have differed immensely, and the reason of the difference of opinion is the authenticity of hadith, and some may use their logic. So what they don't disagree over is answering the call of nature. If a person is in the state of wudu, he urinates, he defecates, or he passes wind, automatically his wudu is invalid. Full stop. He has to go and perform wudu. But also, if a discharge of impurity, and this is imagined with people who have problems in urinating and defecating naturally. I don't know what is called in English, cataracts, I think, is when you get urine out of your body, not through the normal passage. No, cataract might be from the normal passage. But if someone has an operation in his intestines and they take a pipe or a tube out of it and they hang a plastic bag next to his body, may Allah protect us all, so all the defecation, all the body waste will come through that pipe or tube to the bag. In this case, this takes the same ruling as defecation or answering the call of nature. Likewise, if urine is being drained through somewhere else than the normal passage, then again this invalidates wudu. And each case has its own fatwa, because if it's 24/7, what to do? Should I not perform wudu or not? This is a different issue that we may tackle later on, we may not. So among the things that the textbook mentions about what invalidates your wudu is the loss of consciousness, whether it is through sleep or whether it is through fainting and losing consciousness. So if a person sleeps, this is natural. There's nothing wrong. He's not sick. If his sleep is deep, meaning he was unconscious, he's there, I was cracking a joke, he did not laugh, he did not actually hear it. I took his wallet from his pocket, he did not feel it. People came in, people went out, nothing. Then this guy, wudu has been broken. Why? Because his consciousness is what makes him aware whether he released wind or not. So once the consciousness is gone and he's unconscious, then he doesn't know. And there's a hadith where the Prophet says, al-aynan wika'us suh, that the body is like a water skin container. We have to come to the nozzle, come to the mouth of it and tie a rope tightly so that the water does not leave. So the Prophet makes the body like that skin water container and makes the eyes, that is your consciousness, like the rope tying it. Once your eyes are closed and you're unconscious, the rope is untied and the water comes out, meaning that you would pass wind without knowing it or feeling it. And likewise, if a person is in a coma. Number 4, touching one's private parts directly. And this is a huge issue of dispute among scholars. The reason of this dispute is 2 hadiths. One by Busra bint Safwan. Busra bint Safwan narrated that the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wassalam, when a person asked him, should I perform wudu if I touch my private part? And the Prophet said, yes. So this is it, Sheikh. Where is the confusion? You have to perform wudu. Well, there's another hadith by Talq ibn Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, where a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and asked the same very question. Should a man perform wudu if he touches his private part, his penis? And the Prophet said, no, it is part of your body. Meaning that if you touch your nose, would you perform wudu? It's part of your body. Likewise, if you touch any part of your body, including your penis, it does not invalidate your wudu. So these two hadiths are head to head. There is a collision inevitable. What to do? Scholars did some effort to try and solve this problem, and they have different opinions. One says one hadith abrogates the other, and this is the safest. So the hadith of Talq ibn Ali, touching the private part is like touching any part of your body. This is the default. What's your ruling on touching my index finger, Sheikh? Does it invalidate my wudu? It's like touching any part of your body. What's the ruling on touching my shoulder? What's the ruling on touching my beard? The whole thing. What's the ruling on touching my penis? The same thing. The default is it does not invalidate your wudu. The hadith of Busra bin Safwan removes this default into a new category, which means that touching the private part abrogates the previous hadith, and now it invalidates your wudu. And this is the safest. The other opinions, which was the choice of our Shaykh Muhammad ibn Salih al-Uthaymeen, may Allah have mercy on his soul, is that in order to combine between two hadiths without disregarding one over the other, but rather by implementing both of them together, we say that it invalidates your wudu if you touch your private part with desire. So if there was lust in it, then it invalidates your wudu. But if you're cleaning your child and you're washing your boy or girl after pooping, and you touch their private parts, this does not invalidate your wudu because there's no desire in it involved. If you're drying yourself after a shower and you accidentally touch your private part, there's no problem in that. And it's an issue of dispute, and Allah knows best. The textbook did not mention number 5, which is eating camel's meat. And in the books of fiqh, they call this as mufradat al-Imam Ahmad, meaning that Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i all said that camel's meat does not invalidate wudu. Only Imam Ahmad. So one says, okay, then why are we following Imam Ahmad? What a question. We're following Imam Ahmad because he's following the Sunnah. Do you mean that Abu Hanifa, Malik and Shafi'i are not following the Sunnah? It's a big, huge issue of dispute, and I think I spoke about it before, but we will come to talk about it later on, inshallah. Yet the most authentic opinion is that camel's meat invalidates wudu. If you consume it, it invalidates your wudu. And we will come to discuss this, inshallah, later on. But